Welcome back to Facts of Life. Today's journey takes you deep into the ultimate animal kingdom, where nature's most fascinating creatures reveal the secrets of survival, power, and beauty. Sit back, relax, and let the wild unfold as you watch, listen, and discover the incredible stories happening all around us. Picture this: Antarctica. Wind speeds over 100 miles per hour. Temperatures plunging below 40 degrees. A place so hostile, it feels like another planet. And standing in the middle of that frozen apocalypse is a bird. The emperor penguin is the only animal on Earth that breeds during the Antarctic winter, on purpose. While most animals escape the ice, emperor penguins march up to 75 miles inland across solid sea ice to reach stable breeding grounds. They don't build nests. They don't have shelter. They choose the coldest, darkest time of year to raise their young. After the female lays a single egg, she carefully transfers it to the male and then leaves for the ocean. Not for a day, not for a week, for roughly 2 months. The male balances the egg on the tops of his feet the entire time, never letting it touch the ice, because even seconds against the frozen ground would kill the developing chick. He covers it with a warm fold of skin called a brood pouch and stands through relentless storms and total darkness. He does not eat. He can lose nearly half his body weight. And somehow, the egg survives. To endure temperatures that would kill a human in minutes, thousands of males form a tightly packed huddle that functions like a living survival machine. Penguins on the freezing outer edge slowly rotate inward, while those in the warm center move outward, creating a constant circulation that ensures everyone gets a turn in the relative warmth. There is no leader directing this. It's pure, instinctive cooperation. When the chick finally hatches, the mother may still be at sea, sometimes dozens of miles away. If she hasn't returned yet, and the father has not eaten in over 100 days, he can produce a nutrient-rich secretion from his esophagus, often called penguin milk, to feed the chick temporarily. A bird producing milk-like nourishment sounds impossible, but it's real. And when the females return, something almost unbelievable happens. In colonies numbering in the thousands, amid deafening wind and endless white ice, each parent finds its exact mate and chick using only sound. Every family has a unique vocal signature, like a biological password carried across the blizzard. As if surviving Antarctic winter weren't enough, emperor penguins are also extreme divers. They can plunge deeper than 1,800 feet and hold their breath for over 20 minutes. Their bodies are built to store extraordinary amounts of oxygen, and they can slow their heart rate and temporarily reduce blood flow to non-essential organs while hunting in the dark ocean below the ice. They are not just surviving the harshest environment on Earth. They are mastering it. In the most brutal climate on the planet, a flightless bird has accomplished what seems impossible. And once you realize what emperor penguins are truly capable of, you will never see nature the same way again. Imagine drifting thousands of feet beneath the surface of the icy ocean, where the water is almost freezing, the light barely exists, and something that looks like a tiny, glowing angel flutters through the darkness. This is the sea angel, scientifically known as Cleone limacina, one of the ocean's most mesmerizing and misunderstood creatures. Despite its heavenly nickname, the sea angel isn't a mythical being. It's actually a type of free-swimming sea slug. Unlike most sea slugs that crawl along the ocean floor, sea angels evolved to live their entire lives suspended in open water. Instead of a shell, they have transparent, gelatinous bodies that make them nearly invisible to predators. And those delicate wings aren't wings at all. They're modified feet called parapodia, which they flap gracefully to fly through the sea. Sea angels are small, usually only about an inch long. But what they lack in size, they make up for in survival skill. They thrive in some of the coldest waters on Earth, including the Arctic and parts of the North Pacific. In places like Alaska and northern Japan, they've even become cultural icons because of their ethereal appearance. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Sea angels are specialized hunters. Their primary prey is a creature called the sea butterfly, another small floating snail. When a sea angel detects its prey, it undergoes a dramatic transformation. Its head splits open, revealing hooked tentacles that shoot out to grab the sea butterfly and pull it in. What looks like a gentle, floating angel suddenly becomes a precise, almost alien predator. Even more fascinating is their resilience. Sea angels can survive in waters that would freeze most marine life. They produce natural antifreeze compounds in their bodies, preventing ice crystals from forming inside their cells. This allows them to remain active in temperatures hovering around freezing, a remarkable adaptation in a rapidly changing ocean. Yet, despite their resilience, sea angels are vulnerable. Because they rely so heavily on sea butterflies, creatures with delicate calcium carbonate shells, ocean acidification poses a serious threat. As carbon dioxide levels rise, the water becomes more acidic, weakening the shells of their prey and disrupting the balance of this fragile Arctic food web. So while they may look like tiny spirits drifting peacefully through the sea angels are both predators and survivors, symbols of the beauty and fragility of life in Earth's coldest oceans. In the silent, frozen depths, they continue to flutter, small, transparent, and extraordinary. The crocodile is not just an animal. It is a survivor from a dead world. Before humans walked upright, before mammals ruled the land, before birds learned to sing, crocodiles were already here. Their ancestors crawled out of the Triassic period over 230 million years ago, sharing the planet with dinosaurs. When the dinosaurs burned, froze, and vanished, the crocodile stayed. Its body plan was already perfect. Evolution didn't need to fix it, only sharpen it. These ancient predators descend from archosaurs, the same lineage that gave rise to dinosaurs and birds. But while their cousins chased speed and flight, crocodiles perfected patience, stillness, ambush, absolute control. What you see today is almost identical to what hunted prehistoric rivers millions of years ago, and that should terrify you. Crocodiles reproduce with a brutality and precision that mirrors their ancient roots. During mating season, males bellow so deeply that the vibrations ripple through the water like underwater earthquakes. Females choose dominance, size, power. The winner earns the right to pass on its genes. Eggs are laid in carefully constructed nests of mud and vegetation. And, unlike most reptiles, crocodile mothers stay. They guard the nest violently, attacking anything that comes close. Lions, hyenas, humans. When the eggs hatch, the mother gently carries her young in her jaws, those same jaws capable of crushing bone, and places them into the water. It's one of nature's most chilling contrasts, tenderness wrapped in a weapon. But don't mistake protection for mercy. Crocodiles are cannibals. The weak are eaten. The slow are consumed. Even siblings aren't safe. In droughts or territorial territorial disputes, adults will kill and eat juveniles without hesitation. Survival belongs only to the strongest. This is not cruelty. This is efficiency. Their day-to-day life is deceptively calm. Crocodiles spend hours, sometimes days, motionless, heart rate slowed, muscles relaxed, eyes just above the surface. They are calculating every ripple, every vibration. When they move, it's explosive. A crocodile can launch its entire body out of the water in a fraction of a second, delivering one of the most powerful bite forces ever recorded, over 3,700 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than a great white shark, stronger than a lion, stronger than steel restraints. Once they bite, they don't let go. They perform the infamous death roll, spinning violently to tear flesh from bone. Limbs are removed. Prey drowns first, then is dismembered at leisure. Their diet is anything they can overpower: fish, birds, antelope, zebras, buffalo, other predators, even sharks in saltwater environments. They don't hunt often, but when they do, something dies. Crocodiles are deeply territorial. Males battle for dominance in violent underwater clashes, slamming jaws, ramming bodies, biting tails and limbs. Losers are scarred, driven off, or killed. Territories mean access to mates, basking spots, and prey routes. Control the river, and you control life and death. As parents, crocodiles are paradoxes. Mothers fiercely defend young for months, sometimes years. Fathers patrol territories to keep rival males away. But once protection ends, the young are on their own, and many won't survive their own kind. Their instincts are ancient and ruthless. They do not feel panic. They do not hesitate. They operate on timing, pressure, and opportunity. Crocodiles can hold their breath for over an hour, sense vibrations through specialized receptors in their jaws, and survive months without food. Their immune systems are so powerful they can heal from wounds that would kill most animals outright. And their impact on the environment is immense. Crocodiles are keystone predators. They control prey populations, prevent overgrazing, and even shape river systems by creating pathways and pools used by countless other species. Remove crocodiles, and ecosystems collapse. Throughout history, humans have both feared and worshipped them. Ancient Egyptians revered Sobek, the crocodile god of power and fertility. Nile crocodiles were said to drag warriors from boats during battles. In Australia and Africa, legends speak of river monsters that punish arrogance and reward respect. Even today, crocodiles kill hundreds of people every year, not because they hunt humans, but because they do not recognize us as special. To a crocodile, you are just meat that stepped too close to the water. This animal has outlived mass extinctions, climate shifts, ice ages, and humanity's rise. It doesn't roar for dominance. It doesn't chase glory. It waits, silent, ancient, watching. And long after we're gone, the crocodile will still be here. They look like monsters torn straight from a nightmare. But the truth is far stranger and far more fascinating. In the deserts of Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and the American Southwest, an ancient hunter races across burning sand. It has 10 legs, jaws like bolt cutters, and a speed that makes shadows struggle to keep up. This is the camel spider, also known as the wind scorpion or sun spider. And despite its name, it is not a spider and not a scorpion. Camel spiders belong to a little-known order of arachnids called Solifugae, a lineage that has survived for over 300 million years, long before dinosaurs ever walked the earth. One of the first things people notice is their size. Some species can reach nearly 6 inches in length, and when they run, Often at speeds over 10 miles per hour, they appear even larger. But much of what people fear about them is misunderstood. Those terrifying jaws are called chelicerae, and pound for pound, they are among the strongest biting structures in the arachnid world. They use them to crush beetles, scorpions, lizards, rodents, and even small birds. They don't inject venom. Instead, they chew their prey alive, liquefying tissue to drink it like a protein shake. Camel spiders are pure predators. No silk webs, no traps, just speed, strength, and relentless pursuit. They are mostly nocturnal, hiding from the brutal sun beneath rocks, burrows, or even inside human boots. Ironically, despite being called sun spiders, they actually run toward shadows, often chasing humans simply to escape the heat. Their legs are covered in sensory hairs so sensitive they can detect vibrations from prey moving several feet away. And those extra legs you see? They're not legs at all, but pedipalps, used like hands to grab, climb, and taste the world around them. Camel spiders also have an insatiable metabolism. When food is available, they eat until their abdomens visibly swell, sometimes doubling in size. In harsh desert environments, missing a meal can mean death. Perhaps the most shocking part of their life is reproduction. Mating is violent and brief. In some species, the male must physically immobilize the female to survive the encounter, while in others, cannibalism is a very real risk. Despite their fearsome appearance, camel spiders are not aggressive toward humans. They do not seek us out to attack. But if handled or trapped, they will bite in self-defense, and that bite can be extremely painful, capable of breaking skin with ease. No venom, no myths of screaming, no jumping at faces. Just an ancient, hyper-adapted predator doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. In a world of venomous fangs and silk traps, the camel spider relies on something far more primal: speed, hunger, and jaws that never hesitate. And long after the desert cools and the wind settles, they are still running. Far beneath the cold, dim waters of the North Atlantic lives a creature that looks like it crawled straight out of prehistory. This is the Atlantic wolfish, a living relic, a predator built not for speed, but for power, patience, and survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Wolfish ancestors appeared over 50 million years ago, during a time when Earth's oceans were dominated by armored invertebrates and crushing jaws mattered more than chasing speed. While many ancient predators vanished, the wolfish endured by perfecting a single brutal strategy: bite harder than anything else around you. Its skull evolved thick, reinforced bones, and its teeth became less like blades and more like tools, designed to crush, not slice. Those teeth are the wolfish's signature. Long, fang-like canines line the front of its mouth, while massive molar-style teeth in the back are built to pulverize shells. Sea urchins, crabs, clams, lobsters, nothing armored is safe. When a wolfish bites down, it doesn't hesitate. Shells explode, spines snap. Even sea urchins, avoided by most predators, are devoured whole. Despite its monstrous appearance, the Atlantic wolfish is not an aggressive hunter. It prefers ambush and patience, lurking near rocky crevices and cold seafloor caves. Its eel-like body allows it to snake through tight spaces, while its thick skin and reduced scales protect it from sharp rocks and struggling prey. But where the wolfish truly defies expectations is in how it reproduces. Unlike most fish, which scatter eggs and abandon them, wolfish form long-term pair bonds. Mated pairs guard a single nest together. The female lays thousands of large eggs, and the male fiercely protects them for months, sometimes up to half a year, fanning them with oxygen-rich water and attacking anything that comes too close. This level of parental care is almost unheard of among fish, and is one reason the species has survived for so long. When threatened, the wolffish doesn't flee. It opens its jaws wide, bares its fangs, and lunges. Divers describe the sound of its jaws snapping as bone-chilling. Its bite is strong enough to crush shellfish and easily injure predators, making even sharks think twice. The Atlantic wolffish is not fast. It is not sleek. It is not graceful. But it is ancient, resilient, and perfectly engineered for a world of cold darkness and crushing pressure. This is not a monster of myth. This is a survivor of deep time, still biting, still guarding, still ruling the ocean floor. Beneath the shimmering surface of the Indo-Pacific reefs, a vibrant community thrives in a delicate balance of color, motion, and hidden complexity. Among the waving tentacles of sea anemones lives one of the ocean's most iconic residents, the clownfish. These small, brilliantly orange and white-striped fish are more than a spectacle of color. They are masters of survival, social complexity, and mutual dependence. The clownfish's world is defined by its intimate relationship with the sea anemone, a partnership forged over millennia. The anemone's stinging tentacles, deadly to most predators, provide a safe haven for the clownfish, while the clownfish defends its host vigorously, chasing away intruders and even feeding the anemone by luring prey or providing nutrients through its waste. This symbiosis is a dance of trust and adaptation. The clownfish's mucus coating protects it from the anemone's sting, allowing it to slip unharmed through the venomous embrace. And over time, both species shape each other's behavior, a living example of coevolution. Within this safe haven, a strict social hierarchy emerges. At the top reigns the dominant female, the largest and most assertive, followed by a single breeding male who maintains order, while smaller non-breeding males fill subordinate roles. Remarkably, clownfish are protandrous hermaphrodites. Should the female disappear, the breeding male transforms into a female, while the next in line matures to assume the male role. This fluidity ensures the continuity of the group and the survival of their lineage, and it allows the population to adapt rapidly to sudden changes in their environment. The reproductive cycle is a display of devotion and precision. The female lays hundreds of adhesive eggs on a flat surface near the anemone, often on the base of the reef or anemone stalk, and the male assumes sole responsibility for their care, meticulously guarding the clutch, fanning oxygen-rich currents over the eggs, and removing debris or unfertilized embryos. Over the course of a week, these tiny eggs transform into larvae, ready to venture into the vast open ocean, where their journey to the reef will be fraught with predators, strong currents, and the constant struggle for survival. Once the larvae reach a suitable reef, they face the challenge of finding an appropriate host anemone. Selection is deliberate. Only those demonstrating precise swimming skills, resilience, and an understanding of the anemone's defenses will be accepted. Those that fail often become prey or are forced to wander in search of new territory, highlighting the precariousness of life in the coral reef ecosystem. Clownfish communicate with subtle sophistication, producing high-pitched pops, clicks, and distinctive body gestures that convey dominance, submission, aggression, or mating intentions. Even within the limited confines of a single anemone, interactions are nuanced and vital for maintaining social order, and researchers have observed them engaging in what appears to be playful sparring. testing boundaries and reinforcing hierarchy. Clownfish are also remarkable for their adaptability and learning. They recognize individual neighbors, remember previous conflicts, and even adjust their behavior depending on the level of threat. Some species will leave the safety of their anemone to forage on algae, plankton, or small crustaceans, demonstrating a balance of caution and curiosity that defines reef life. Yet, the ocean is changing. Rising temperatures and coral bleaching threaten the very foundation of their habitat, while overcollection for the aquarium trade, pollution, and invasive species further exacerbate the risks. Conservationists are racing to protect these fragile ecosystems, implementing captive breeding programs, restoring degraded reefs, and monitoring wild populations to ensure that the delicate interplay between clownfish and their host anemones continues for generations to come. In the kaleidoscope of the reef, the clownfish is both guardian and survivor, a living testament to the ingenuity, resilience, and complexity of life beneath the waves. In this miniature universe of color, sound, and motion, every flick of a fin and every whispered pop tells a story of adaptation, cooperation, and the intricate bonds that sustain life in the ocean's most extraordinary communities. Even in the smallest reef crevice, the drama of survival unfolds, revealing a world as intricate and captivating as any on land, where the lives of clownfish continue to inspire wonder and scientific curiosity alike. Across the vast grasslands of Serengeti and the sweeping savannas of Masai Mara, where golden horizons ripple beneath the heat of the sun, one of the most visually striking mammals on Earth moves in rhythmic procession, the zebra. Against a backdrop of wind-bent grasses and distant thunderclouds, their black and white stripes shimmer like living illusions, each animal carrying a pattern as unique as a fingerprint. These markings are not merely ornamental. They are evolutionary masterpieces, confusing predators, deterring biting insects, and even helping regulate body temperature by creating subtle air currents across the skin. Zebras are deeply social animals, living in tightly bonded family groups known as harems, typically led by a dominant stallion, several mares, and their offspring. Within these groups, relationships are reinforced through grooming rituals, gentle nuzzling, and constant vocal communication. Their language is rich and expressive, composed of barks, snorts, whinnies, and subtle ear and tail movements that signal mood, warning, or reassurance. A flick of an ear can signal irritation, while a soft whinny can summon a wandering foal back to safety. Beyond the family unit, multiple harems often merge into larger herds, forming moving societies that can number in the hundreds, an ever-shifting mosaic of stripes flowing across the plains. Life on the African savanna demands vigilance. Lions, hyenas, and wild dogs patrol these grasslands, and for zebras, survival depends on coordination and awareness. When danger approaches, the herd does not scatter blindly. Instead, they form protective formations, placing foals at the center while adults face outward. If escape becomes necessary, they burst into motion with explosive speed, their hooves drumming the earth in thunderous unison. During such chases, their stripes create a dazzling visual effect that can disorient predators, making it difficult to single out one target from the rushing mass. Even when cornered, a zebra is far from defenseless. A well-placed kick from its powerful hind legs can shatter bone and deter even the most determined attacker. Reproduction and early life unfold with remarkable tenderness amid this harsh landscape. After a year-long gestation, a mare gives birth to a single foal, which stands within minutes and begins memorizing its mother's stripe pattern almost immediately. This rapid imprinting is critical in a herd where every adult appears similar at a glance. Recognizing the correct parent can mean the difference between nourishment and starvation. Mothers are fiercely protective, positioning themselves between their young and any perceived threat, while stallions patrol the perimeter, ready to defend the group from rivals or predators. Migration is one of the zebra's most awe-inspiring behaviors. In regions of Africa where seasons dictate survival, vast herds travel hundreds of miles in search of fresh grazing and water. These journeys are not random wanderings, but ancient routes encoded in instinct, followed for generations. Along the way, zebras play a vital ecological role. As grazers, they trim tough grasses that many other herbivores cannot digest, effectively preparing the landscape for species such as wildebeest and antelope, shaping the ecosystem through their feeding patterns. Yet even these resilient travelers face mounting challenges. Expanding human settlements, fencing, habitat fragmentation, and climate change threaten traditional migration corridors, while competition for water grows more intense each year. Conservationists are working tirelessly to preserve open rangelands, establish wildlife corridors, and monitor populations using satellite tracking and genetic studies. These efforts aim to ensure that zebras continue to roam the plains as they have for millennia, their striped forms weaving through the grasses like living brushstrokes on nature's canvas. In the grand theater of the savannah, the zebra stands as both symbol and survivor, a creature shaped by predators, climate, and community. Every ripple of muscle beneath its striped coat tells a story of endurance, cooperation, and adaptation, reminding us that even in the harshest environments, beauty and resilience can run side by side across the wild horizon. Deep in the rugged Atlas Mountains of North Africa, a creature lurks within the shadows of the trees, its presence both commanding and terrifying. This is the Barbary macaque, a primate so extraordinary that it has fascinated and terrified scientists for centuries. With its powerful limbs, unyielding gaze, and sharp instincts, the Barbary macaque is a force of nature, a creature that has adapted to survive in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. These macaques, with their golden brown fur and piercing eyes, travel in groups, and their society is as brutal as it is brilliant. Their interactions are a constant battle for dominance, with each macaque vying for position, power, and the right to reign over the group. Their violent hierarchy is not for the faint of heart. Male macaques fight viciously to establish control, with jaw-clenching battles that can leave deep, lasting scars, both physical and psychological. But it's not just the males who are ruthless. The females, too, are skilled warriors in their own right, defending their territory, their young, and their food with fierce aggression. A mother will fight tooth and nail to protect her offspring, using every ounce of her strength to fend off threats. When the stakes are this high, mercy is a rare commodity. And it's not just other animals they have to worry about. Barbary macaques are known for their terrifying ability to adapt, to thrive, and to dominate in any environment. Their intelligence is off the charts. They use tools, something not often seen in the primate world. They've been observed using stones to crack open tough nuts, or even using branches to fish for insects. Their problem-solving skills are so advanced that some researchers believe they are on par with those of chimpanzees. But these macaques aren't just resourceful, they're terrifyingly strategic. In the wild, their ability to understand their environment allows them to exploit every possible advantage. They've been known to ambush prey, setting clever traps that can ensnare even the most alert of animals. They also know how to manipulate other members of their group, forming alliances, breaking them, and plotting their next move like seasoned generals. While their intelligence is one of their most impressive traits, it's also what makes them so unsettling. Barbary macaques are opportunistic, calculating, and relentless in their pursuit of survival. They've been known to raid human settlements, stealing food, and even sabotaging crops. But don't mistake their cunning for weakness. When they decide to strike, it's fast, ruthless, and often brutal. Their agility is nothing short of awe-inspiring. These macaques can leap from tree to tree with the precision of a seasoned acrobat, covering distances that would make even the most experienced climbers green with envy. They move through the treetops like shadows, silent and swift, their every move calculated. There's no escape when they're on the hunt. But despite their terrifying capabilities, the Barbary macaque is also a deeply social animal. Beneath the violence, beneath the aggression, lies a family bond so strong that it defies the harshest of environments. Grooming, a ritual that seems simple, is their way of strengthening these bonds. It's a moment of peace, a moment of connection in a world that can often be brutal and unforgiving. The Barbary macaque's world is not for the faint-hearted. It is a world where survival means everything, where strength, intelligence, and loyalty are tested every day. It's a world where the laws of nature are bent to the will of the most ruthless, the most cunning, and the most resilient. And as the sun sets over the mountains, casting long shadows over the jungle, the Barbary macaques prepare for another night. Another night where the rules are rewritten, alliances shift, and battles for survival rage on. This is their world, a world where every moment counts and the strongest thrive, a world where only the ruthless survive and the adventure never ends. In the quiet corners of the world, hidden among leaves, bark, and stone, a tiny predator waits with extraordinary patience. Often overlooked because of its size, the jumping spider is one of nature's most remarkable hunters. Found on every continent except Antarctica, these spiders thrive in environments ranging from dense rainforests to dry deserts and even urban gardens. Though they measure only a few millimeters in length, jumping spiders possess abilities that rival some of the most advanced predators on the planet. What sets the jumping spider apart begins with its vision. Unlike most spiders, which rely heavily on vibrations and touch, jumping spiders depend on sight. They have 8 eyes arranged in a unique pattern, giving them nearly panoramic vision. 2 large forward-facing eyes provide sharp, detailed focus, allowing them to judge distance, track movement, and recognize shapes with surprising accuracy. This exceptional eyesight makes them one of the most visually advanced invertebrates known to science. Jumping spiders do not build webs to trap their prey. Instead, they are active hunters that stalk with precision and intent. Slowly and deliberately, they creep closer to their target, carefully calculating distance and angle. When the moment is right, the spider launches itself through the air in a powerful leap. Using a hydraulic system that forces fluid into its legs, the spider can jump up to 50 times its own body length. The attack is fast, accurate, and rarely unsuccessful. Despite their confidence in the jump, jumping spiders always prepare for failure. Before leaping, they attach a thin strand of silk to the surface behind them. This safety line acts as a lifeline, allowing the spider to climb back up if it misses or if danger suddenly appears. Silk, while not used for prey capture, remains an essential tool for survival, providing security security and stability in a risky world. Beyond their athletic abilities, jumping spiders demonstrate an impressive level of intelligence. Studies have shown that they can plan routes, remember successful paths, and solve problems that require trial and error. Some species are even capable of choosing longer, more complex routes to reach prey if it means a higher chance of success. This level of decision-making is rare among animals of their size and reveals just how advanced these tiny hunters truly are. When it comes time to reproduce, jumping spiders reveal yet another extraordinary trait. Males perform elaborate courtship displays, waving their legs, vibrating their bodies, and showcasing vivid colors and patterns. These dances are carefully choreographed signals meant to communicate strength and species identity, while also avoiding being mistaken for prey. The female watches closely, and only the most convincing performances are accepted. In the wild, precision and communication can mean the difference between success and failure. Though their lives are short, jumping spiders play an important role in controlling insect populations and maintaining balance in their ecosystems. They are alert, adaptable, and endlessly resourceful, thriving without webs, venomous traps, or brute strength. Instead, they rely on intelligence, vision, and perfectly timed movement. In a world filled with giants, the jumping spider proves that size is not what defines a predator. With unmatched vision, incredible agility, and a mind built for strategy, this tiny hunter stands as one of nature's most impressive achievements. The jumping spider is small, fearless, and perfectly designed for survival. A powerful reminder that even the smallest creatures can be truly extraordinary. In the wide, sunlit grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, where the horizon seems endless and danger hides in the tall grass, there walks a hunter unlike any other. Tall, deliberate, and unmistakable in silhouette. This is the secretary bird. Neither eagle nor crane. The secretary bird stands as one of Africa's most extraordinary predators. Rising more than 4 feet tall, with long, stilt-like legs and an eagle's piercing gaze, it is a bird built not for soaring alone, but for walking patiently, relentlessly across the savannah. Its lineage is ancient. Fossil evidence suggests the ancestors of the secretary bird hunted these grasslands millions of years ago, evolving alongside Africa's earliest mammals. Over time, it developed a body unlike any other raptor, powerful legs designed not for grasping, but for striking. The secretary bird's hunting method is legendary. It stalks prey on foot, moving with calm precision, scanning the grass for movement. When danger reveals itself, snakes, rodents, lizards, or insects, the bird attacks with explosive speed, delivering crushing downward kicks. Each strike is strong enough to kill venomous snakes, including cobras and adders, in seconds. Its legs are protected by thick scales, acting as natural armor against bites. Its wings, though large and capable of flight, are often held out for balance and intimidation during combat. This combination of strength, speed, and strategy makes the secretary bird one of the most effective ground predators in the bird world. Despite its fearsome skill, the secretary bird plays a vital role in its ecosystem. By controlling populations of snakes and small animals, it helps maintain balance across the grasslands. Farmers have long respected the bird, knowing its presence reduces dangerous pests and protects livestock indirectly. When it comes time to reproduce, the secretary bird reveals another side of its nature. Monogamous pairs form strong bonds, often lasting for years. Together, they build enormous nests, high in acacia trees, made from sticks and lined with grass and animal hair. These nests can be reused and expanded year after year, becoming massive platforms visible from far away. The female lays 1 to 3 eggs, and both parents share incubation duties. When the chicks hatch, they are helpless and dependent, remaining in the nest for months. Even after learning to fly, young secretary birds stay with their parents, mastering the skills of hunting on foot before facing the savannah alone. Yet this remarkable bird is under threat. Expanding agriculture, habitat destruction, wildfires, and human disturbance have caused secretary bird populations to decline across much of their range. Once common, they are now classified as vulnerable, their future tied closely to the preservation of open grasslands. Still, the secretary bird endures. Striding through the savannah with crown feathers flowing behind its head like quill pens, it remains a symbol of vigilance, strength, and ancient balance. A bird that does not flee from danger, but walks directly toward it, keeping watch over the land it has ruled for millions of years. Across the golden plains of Africa, where the horizon shimmers beneath the rising sun, a slender silhouette scans the grasslands with quiet intensity. This is the cheetah, the fastest land animal on Earth, a creature engineered by evolution for one purpose: speed. Unlike the brute strength of lions or the endurance of hyenas, the cheetah survives through precision and an explosive acceleration. Every inch of its body tells the story of adaptation: a lightweight frame, long aerodynamic limbs, a deep chest that houses enlarged lungs, and a powerful heart. Even its spine is a marvel, flexible like a coiled spring, compressing and extending to double the stride length with each bound. But speed alone does not define the cheetah's world. Life here is a constant calculation of risk and reward. In the open savannas of the Serengeti and the vast wilderness of the Masai Mara, survival depends on timing. A mother cheetah must hunt not only for herself, but for the cubs hidden carefully in tall grass. She cannot afford injury. A single broken limb would mean starvation for her and for her young. When the moment comes, it happens in seconds. A distant gazelle strays too far from the herd. The cheetah lowers her body, muscles tightening beneath spotted fur. She inches forward, using termite mounds and dry brush as cover. Every movement is deliberate, every breath measured. Then, ignition. From 0 to 60 miles per hour in just a few heartbeats, the cheetah explodes across the savannah. Her tail becomes a rudder, steering with astonishing precision as she twists and turns in pursuit. Dust erupts behind her. The chase is a blur of motion and instinct. Yet this sprint is brief. In less than 30 seconds, the outcome is decided. The cheetah cannot sustain such speed for long. Her body would overheat. If she succeeds, she must quickly drag her catch to safety before stronger predators arrive. Lions, leopards, even hyenas would steal her hard-earned meal without hesitation. For cubs, the dangers are even greater. Nearly 70% will not reach adulthood. Eagles circle overhead, jackals patrol the grasslands, and rival predators see opportunity where the cheetah sees family. But there is resilience in this fragility. At dusk, beneath a sky painted in amber and violet, the cubs emerge to play. They tumble and chase one another, practicing the very skills that will one day determine their fate. In their small frames lies the blueprint of one of nature's most extraordinary athletes. The cheetah's story is not one of dominance, but of delicate balance. It is a life lived on the edge, between hunger and nourishment, vulnerability and velocity. As night settles over the African plains, the cheetah rests. Tomorrow will demand everything again: focus, speed, precision. In a land ruled by strength, the cheetah proves that survival sometimes belongs to the swift. In the quiet shallows of the Indo-Pacific, where coral gardens sway with the rhythm of the tide, a creature no larger than a golf ball waits in perfect stillness. It is delicate, it is dazzling, and it is one of the most venomous animals on Earth. This is the blue-ringed octopus. At first glance, it seems almost playful, its golden skin patterned with electric blue rings that shimmer like neon constellations. But those rings are not decoration. They are a warning written in light. The blue-ringed octopus belongs to the genus Hapaloclaena, a small group of octopuses found from the reefs of Australia to the coastal waters of Japan. Despite its modest size, rarely exceeding 8 inches from arm tip to arm tip, it commands a presence far greater than its body suggests. Most of the time, the blue-ringed octopus is understated, its rings barely visible against a sandy yellow or brown background. It glides across the ocean floor with effortless grace, squeezing into crevices, exploring coral rubble, and searching for its next meal. Like all octopuses, it is a master of camouflage, able to shift texture and color in an instant. Muscles beneath its skin expand specialized pigment cells called chromatophores, transforming its appearance in the blink of an eye. But when threatened, everything changes. In a fraction of a second, those brilliant blue rings ignite, pulsing with intensity. The display is breathtaking. It is also a final warning. Few predators are bold enough to ignore it. The secret behind this tiny hunter's power lies not in its size, but in its chemistry. The blue-ringed octopus carries tetrodotoxin, a potent neurotoxin produced by symbiotic bacteria within its body. The toxin blocks sodium channels in nerve cells, shutting down communication between nerves and muscles. For small prey like crabs and shrimp, the effect is immediate paralysis. For larger animals, including humans, the consequences can be far more serious. And yet, the blue-ringed octopus is not aggressive. It does not hunt humans. It does not chase or attack without cause. Nearly all incidents occur when it is accidentally stepped on or handled. Its venom is a defense, not a weapon of malice. In truth, this animal is a devoted hunter and a remarkable parent. After mating, the female carries her fertilized eggs beneath her arms, cradling them gently for weeks. She does not eat during this time. She aerates the eggs with careful movements, protecting them from predators and debris. Her world narrows to this singular act of devotion. When the eggs finally hatch into tiny, fully formed octopuses, her life comes to an end. It is a sacrifice woven into the fabric of her species. Even from birth, these hatchlings are independent and equipped with venom of their own. They drift briefly in the plankton before settling onto the reef, where the cycle begins again. The blue-ringed octopus reminds us that power and fragility can exist side by side. It is a paradox of the natural world: small yet formidable, beautiful yet dangerous, shy yet unforgettable. In the vast theater of the ocean, not all giants are large. Some of the greatest marvels come in the smallest forms, glowing like living jewels beneath the sea. And if you are ever fortunate enough to glimpse those luminous rings flashing in the shallows, remember this: you are witnessing one of nature's most extraordinary masterpieces. A creature that proves awe does not measure itself in size, but in brilliance. In the frozen waters of Antarctica, where glaciers fracture and the ocean exhales mist into the polar air, one predator moves with quiet dominance: the leopard seal. Forged by evolution over 25 million years, its ancestors were land-dwelling carnivores that returned to the sea, gradually transforming into powerful marine hunters. Over millennia, natural selection refined the leopard seal into something extraordinary: a long, muscular body built for stealth, a reptilian skull, and jaws armed with dagger-like canines and interlocking molars designed both to tear flesh and to sieve krill from the water. It is an apex predator, second only to the killer whale in these icy seas. Beneath the pack ice, it glides almost invisibly. Penguins hesitate at the water's edge, knowing what may lurk below. When it strikes, the attack is explosive. A penguin is seized and violently thrashed across the surface, skin and feathers stripped away in a display that is as gruesome as it is efficient. Even young seals are not safe. And yet, the leopard seal is not driven by chaos, but by balance. Its very diet, from krill and fish to penguins and smaller seals, allows it to regulate multiple populations at once. By removing the weak and controlling numbers, it prevents overconsumption of Antarctic fish stocks and krill swarms, stabilizing a fragile food web. In this way, it is a keystone species, shaping the behavior and survival of countless others. Solitary and powerful, adult leopard seals face few natural threats. During the breeding season, males produce haunting, almost otherworldly vocalizations that echo for miles beneath the ice. After mating, a female gives birth to a single pup on stable sea ice, nursing it with rich milk for about a month before it must learn to survive alone in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Early explorers, including Ernest Shackleton, described encounters with leopard seals as both terrifying and mesmerizing. Rare attacks on humans have cemented their fearsome reputation, yet researchers have also documented moments of curiosity, even play, revealing a surprising intelligence behind those dark, watchful eyes. As climate change reshapes Antarctica's sea ice, the leopard seal's future grows uncertain. But for now, it remains what it has always been: ancient, formidable, and essential. A living embodiment of Antarctica's raw and unforgiving power. When you think of flamingos, you probably think of pink, elegance, maybe a lawn ornament standing in someone's yard. But that bird is actually an ancient survivor, a chemical miracle, a social genius, and one of the most misunderstood animals on Earth. Because flamingos have existed for over 30 million years, evolving alongside early mammals long before humans ever appeared. And their closest living relatives are grebes, diving birds that live in completely different environments, which means flamingos took a wildly different evolutionary path and became specialists for some of the harshest, most toxic waters on the planet, places so extreme that most animals physically cannot survive there. Yet flamingos didn't just adapt to those environments, they claimed them. Flamingos are not born pink at all. They hatch gray or white, and every bit of their color comes from what they eat, specifically algae, brine shrimp, and microscopic organisms packed with pigments called carotenoids, which their liver breaks down and distributes into their feathers, meaning the brighter the pink, the healthier the flamingo. And in the wild, a fading or pale flamingo is a biological warning sign, because color isn't decoration, it's survival advertising. What makes this even more insane is how they eat, because flamingos feed upside down, using one of the most specialized beaks in the bird world, filtering food from water like a living sieve, while their tongue pumps back and forth up to 20 times per second, separating microscopic food from mud, toxins, and salt, essentially allowing them to live off resources that almost no other animal can use. Flamingos don't live alone either. They form massive colonies that can reach hundreds of thousands or even over 1 million birds. And this isn't just for company, it's protection. Because more eyes mean predators are spotted instantly. And when danger strikes, flamingos take off together in massive waves that confuse predators so no single bird can be targeted. And they synchronize nearly everything they do, from feeding to resting to moving, which turns the colony into something closer to a single organism than a group of individuals. Their famous dances aren't random or just for show either, because flamingos perform synchronized courtship displays to test health, coordination, and commitment. And many flamingos form long-term pair bonds where both parents share responsibility equally, building mud nests, protecting their egg, and raising their chick together, which makes flamingo parenting one of the strongest examples of cooperation in the bird world. When a flamingo chick hatches, it looks nothing like its parents, and instead of instantly feeding on algae, it drinks something called crop milk, a nutrient-rich, protein-packed secretion produced by both parents, not just the mother, allowing the chick to grow rapidly in environments that would otherwise be impossible to survive in. And only over time does the chick slowly earn its iconic pink color. Flamingos are also built to withstand conditions that would kill most animals because they can drink boiling hot, salt-saturated, toxin-filled water. Their legs are covered in specialized skin that resists extreme salinity and chemical burns. And they can sleep standing on one leg to conserve body heat and energy, essentially entering a biological power-saving mode. So flamingos are not just pretty birds, they are ancient chemists who turn poison into nourishment, elite survivors who thrive where others die, social masterminds that function as one, and evolutionary rebels that transform hostile environments into their kingdom. And the next time you see a flamingo standing tall and pink against the water, remember that color isn't just beauty, it's power. In the darkness of tropical forests, when most predators rely on speed or venom, a strange hunter waits in silence. With enormous forward-facing eyes and a face that appears almost otherworldly, the ogre-faced spider emerges as one of nature's most specialized nocturnal predators. Ogre-faced spiders belong to the family Dinopidae, a lineage that dates back over 100 million years to ancient arachnids that evolved alongside early insects. Their unusual hunting strategy developed early and has remained largely unchanged, not because of limitation, but because it is already devastatingly effective. Their most striking feature is their massive eyes, among the largest relative eye size of any arthropod. These eyes are adapted for extreme low-light vision, allowing the spider to detect prey in near total darkness. Each day, the light-sensitive tissue behind the eyes is broken down to prevent sun damage, then fully regenerated by nightfall, giving the spider exceptional night vision unmatched by most nocturnal animals. Unlike web-building spiders, the ogre-faced spider hunts actively. It suspends itself between branches while holding a small, elastic net of silk stretched between its front legs. This net is engineered to expand instantly. When an insect passes below, the spider drops with precise timing, stretching the net over the prey and trapping it in a fraction of a second. Their diet consists mainly of night-flying insects, such as moths, flies, mosquitoes, beetles, and occasionally other spiders. Once captured, the prey is bitten and injected with venom that quickly immobilizes it. The spider then feeds using external digestion, liquefying internal tissues before consumption to maximize efficiency. During daylight hours, ogre-faced spiders rely on camouflage for survival. Their slender bodies and muted colors allow them to resemble twigs or dead leaves, and they remain perfectly motionless to avoid detection. If threatened, they drop instantly on a silk line and disappear into surrounding vegetation. Reproduction is a careful process. Males approach females cautiously, using subtle vibrations to avoid being mistaken for prey. After mating, females produce silk egg sacs containing dozens of eggs, which hatch weeks later. The spiderlings disperse soon after, spreading through the forest using silk threads carried by air currents. By controlling populations of nocturnal insects, ogre-faced spiders play an important role in maintaining ecological balance. In a world where survival often favors strength or speed, this living relic proves that patience, vision, and precision can be just as powerful, continuing its ancient hunt beneath the cover of darkness exactly as it has for millions of years. In the emerald forests and sun-baked grasslands of South and Southeast Asia, a quiet giant moves with surprising grace. The Asian elephant, Elephas maximus, is smaller than its African cousin, yet no less magnificent. With rounded ears, a domed forehead, and a single finger-like tip at the end of its trunk, it is a master of both strength and precision. At dawn, the forest begins to stir. A low rumble rolls through the trees, almost too deep for human ears to detect. It is the voice of a matriarch, the wise leader of her herd. Asian elephants live in tightly bonded family groups led by the oldest female. Her memory is their map, guiding daughters, sisters, and calves along ancient migratory routes carved by generations before them. Each step is deliberate. Though they can weigh up to 5 tons, their cushioned feet allow them to walk in near silence. The trunk, a fusion of nose and upper lip containing over 40,000 muscles, is both a lifeline and a tool. It plucks tender grasses, strips bark from trees, draws water for drinking, and showers dust across their backs like sunscreen against the relentless tropical sun. Calves remain close to their mothers, sheltered beneath towering legs. From the moment they are born, often weighing more than 200 pounds, they are surrounded by protection. Aunts and older sisters help raise the young, forming a network of care that rivals any in the animal kingdom. Play is constant, trunks entwine, small bodies chase one another through the undergrowth, but every lesson is vital. Survival here demands knowledge. As the dry season tightens its grip, water becomes scarce. The matriarch remembers a hidden riverbed miles away. The herd follows. Along the journey, they reshape the landscape itself. By knocking down trees and clearing pathways, Asian elephants act as ecosystem engineers. Seeds pass through their digestive systems and are deposited far from the parent tree, ensuring the forest's renewal. Where elephants roam, biodiversity flourishes, yet life is not without danger. Expanding farms and growing cities press against the boundaries of ancient habitat. Forests shrink, corridors vanish. Encounters between humans and elephants grow more frequent and more perilous. For the Asian elephant, survival now depends not only on instinct, but on coexistence. In some regions, conservationists work tirelessly to protect migratory routes and reduce conflict. Protected reserves offer refuge, while local communities develop innovative ways to share the land. The future of this species rests on a delicate balance between tradition and progress. As dusk settles, the herd gathers at the water's edge. Calves splash clumsily, while adults stand sentinel. The matriarch pauses, her trunk lifted to the evening air. She listens, not just for danger, but for the faint replies of distant relatives miles away. Their infrasonic calls travel across vast distances, a reminder that even in fragmentation, connection endures. For more than 4,000 years, Asian elephants have walked beside humanity, revered in culture, religion, and history. But beyond symbolism, they are architects of the wild, keepers of memory, and guardians of Asia's great forests. In the fading light, their silhouettes dissolve into shadow, ancient, intelligent, enduring. The story of the Asian elephant is not only one of survival, it is a testament to the power of family, memory, and the fragile harmony of our shared world. Beneath the sunlit skin of the tropical ocean, where light fractures into liquid gold and silence hums with hidden life, a shadow begins to rise. And it is not a predator or a myth, but a miracle of motion, the manta ray, gliding effortlessly through the blue like a living spacecraft. The manta moves with a wingspan that can stretch up to 23 feet across, and unlike its distant cousin, the stingray, it carries no venomous barb, only grace, intelligence, and a presence that commands the sea. There are only 2 recognized species on Earth, the reef manta ray, Mobula alfredi, and the larger oceanic manta ray, Mobula barostris, both roaming the warm waters of the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans, including the vibrant marine realms surrounding Maldives, Indonesia, and Australia. From below, its pale underside glows against the fractured surface light, each constellation of dark spots entirely unique, like a fingerprint, allowing scientists to identify individuals and follow their journeys across years and oceans. With slow, deliberate beats of its massive pectoral fins, the manta appears to fly underwater, every movement economical and precise as it loops, barrel rolls, and spirals through dense clouds of plankton, unfurling its cephalic fins like delicate scrolls to funnel microscopic prey into its wide, forward-facing mouth, proving that even one of the ocean's largest fish survives on some of its smallest life forms. Gentle, but far from simple, the manta ray possesses the largest brain-to-body ratio of any fish in the sea, demonstrating problem-solving abilities, social awareness, and even curiosity toward humans. And divers often describe their encounters not as sightings, but as meetings. As the manta circles back, makes eye contact, and investigates with what feels like deliberate awareness. Along coral reefs, mantas visit cleaning stations in a silent ritual of cooperation, hovering patiently while small fish pick parasites from their skin in a partnership that has endured for millennia. And at times, they erupt from the ocean entirely, launching their enormous bodies into the air before crashing back down in a thunderous splash. A breathtaking behavior scientists believe may serve communication, courtship, or parasite removal, though its full purpose remains one of the sea's lingering mysteries. Yet for all its majesty, the manta ray faces a fragile future, reproducing slowly with females giving birth to a single pup only every few years, leaving populations vulnerable to fishing pressures and the demand for their gill plates, though conservation efforts around the world are beginning to offer hope. And so, the manta continues its ancient migration across open seas and over coral kingdoms, gliding through cathedral-like shafts of sunlight as a living whisper of the ocean's vast intelligence. A reminder that not all giants dominate through force, that some rule through grace. And as this great winged shadow fades once more into the endless blue, it leaves behind a final, unforgettable truth. The ocean does not need monsters to inspire awe, because sometimes it creates angels. In the dim green underworld of the rainforest, where sunlight fractures through layers of leaves and the forest floor hums with unseen life, an empire marches in silence. The rulers are no larger than a paperclip, yet their civilization rivals our own in complexity. These are leafcutter ants, nature's master farmers, engineers, and warriors. Leafcutter ants, mainly from the genera Atta and Acromyrmex, evolved in South America more than 8 million years ago. Long before humans planted crops, their ancestors mastered agriculture. Instead of eating the leaves they cut, they use powerful mandibles to harvest vegetation and carry it in organized columns back to vast underground cities. There, the leaves are chewed into pulp and used to cultivate a specialized fungus, the colony's true food source. The ants feed it, clean it, and defend it from parasites. In return, the fungus produces nutrient-rich structures that sustain millions. Without the fungus, the ants cannot survive. Without the ants, the fungus disappears. It is one of the oldest known examples of symbiosis on Earth. A mature colony can contain several million ants and stretch more than 30 feet underground. Ventilation shafts regulate temperature and airflow. Separate chambers, house nurseries, fungal gardens, and waste sites. The colony functions as a superorganism, each ant a single working cell in a much larger body. At its center is one queen. After a single mating flight, she lands, burrows, and begins the colony alone, carrying a tiny fragment of fungus to seed her first garden. She may live over 15 years, producing millions of offspring. Every ant has a role. Tiny workers tend the fungus and larvae. Medium workers harvest leaves. Massive soldiers with oversized heads and crushing jaws defend against predators like anteaters and parasitic flies. When threatened, alarm pheromones mobilize thousands in seconds. Leafcutters even practice biological warfare. Some species host bacteria on their bodies that produce natural antibiotics, protecting their fungal crops from destructive mold. They also avoid plants toxic to their fungus, adjusting foraging routes through chemical communication and collective decision-making. To farmers, they can be formidable pests, capable of stripping a tree overnight. But in wild forests, they are ecosystem engineers. By pruning vegetation, recycling nutrients, and aerating soil, they shape the structure and diversity of entire rainforests. Survival is never guaranteed. Floods, disease, predators, and rival colonies threaten them constantly. Yet successful colonies endure for decades, sending new queens into the sky each year to begin again. Small, organized, relentless, leafcutter ants are living proof that power in nature is not measured in size, but in cooperation, adaptation, and time. Beneath the rainforest floor, their ancient civilization continues to harvest, cultivate, and thrive, one leaf at a time. This is a living animal. At first glance, it looks like something from another planet, an impossible ribbon of light, a drifting chandelier, a floating strand of glass. But it is not an illusion, not a plant, and not a trick of the water. It is a siphonophore, one of the most extraordinary organisms ever discovered in Earth's oceans. Though it appears to be a single creature, it is in fact a colony, hundreds, sometimes thousands, of tiny individual animals called zooids fused together so completely that they function as one unified being. Each zooid has a specialized role. Some capture prey, some digest food, some reproduce. some provide propulsion, and none can survive on its own. Together, they form a superorganism more coordinated than many single-bodied animals. Siphonophores belong to the same group as jellyfish and corals, the cnidarians, and like their relatives, they are armed with microscopic harpoons called nematocysts. These stinging cells fire faster than a bullet, injecting venom into anything they touch. In some species, the sting is powerful enough to paralyze small fish instantly. In a few, such as the infamous Portuguese man-o'-war, the venom can cause intense pain or even serious reactions in humans. Their tentacles can stretch astonishing distances, sometimes over 30 meters long, forming invisible fishing lines in the dark water. Prey that brushes against them never sees the attack coming. Many siphonophores live in the deep sea, a realm of crushing pressure and total darkness. To survive there, they have evolved bioluminescence, producing their own cold light through chemical reactions inside their bodies. Some glow in pulses, others shimmer in waves, and some can release glowing decoys to distract predators. In the blackness of the abyss, they drift like living constellations. Despite their fragile appearance, siphonophores are among the longest animals on Earth. Certain species can grow longer than a blue whale, stretching through the water like translucent trains. Yet they are so delicate that bringing one to the surface often causes it to fall apart, which is why scientists only began to truly understand them with the invention of deep-sea submersibles and remotely operated vehicles. They do not chase their prey, they do not roar, and they do not hunt with teeth or claws. Instead, they drift silently, patiently, letting the ocean currents carry them while their tentacles wait like a hidden net. Beauty, danger, cooperation, and alien design all exist in a single organism. The siphonophore is proof that life on Earth can be just as strange, just as mesmerizing, and just as unbelievable as anything we could ever imagine. Across the still waters of tropical wetlands, where lilies spread like floating continents and the surface of the water mirrors the sky, moves a bird that appears to defy the laws of nature. This is the jacana. At first glance, it seems impossible. A bird walking on water, stepping lightly across lily pads that should sink beneath its weight. But the jacana is no illusion. It is a master of balance, evolution shaped into living precision. Jacanas are found throughout the wetlands of Central and South America, Africa, and parts of Asia. They thrive in marshes, lagoons, and slow-moving rivers, places where water and land blur into one. Their secret lies in their feet. Exceptionally long toes and claws distribute their weight so evenly that they can walk across floating vegetation without breaking the surface below. This remarkable adaptation earns them the nickname, the lily trotter. But the jacana's true story is even more extraordinary. In most of the animal kingdom, males compete for females. Among jacanas, the roles are reversed. The female is larger, stronger, and fiercely territorial. She controls a domain that may include several males, defending it aggressively from rivals. Each male builds a nest, incubates the eggs, and raises the chicks alone. When danger approaches, he performs one of nature's most astonishing feats, gathering his chicks beneath his wings and carrying them to safety, their tiny legs dangling below his feathers like living tassels. The female, meanwhile, patrols the territory, mating with multiple partners and ensuring the survival of her lineage through dominance rather than devotion. Jacana chicks are born ready for independence. Within hours, they can swim, dive, and forage for themselves. Their world is one of constant danger. Fish below, birds above, and predators lurking at the water's edge. Survival demands speed, awareness, and instinct. Their diet consists of insects, spiders, and small aquatic creatures plucked delicately from the water's surface. Every step must be precise. One miscalculation can mean sinking or becoming prey. Visually, jacanas are striking. Rich chestnut wings, dark bodies, pale faces, and piercing eyes give them an unmistakable presence. In some species, sharp wing spurs serve as weapons, used in fierce battles to defend territory and offspring. Yet even with these advantages, the jacana is vulnerable. Wetlands are among the most threatened ecosystems on Earth. As marshes are drained and waterways altered, the floating world's jacanas depend on disappear. Without lilies, there is no stage for their remarkable dance. The jacana is a reminder that evolution does not follow one path. It experiments. It inverts expectations. It creates creatures that rewrite the rules. On a surface meant to give way, the jacana walks forward, balanced, fearless, and perfectly at home between water and sky. Long before humans ever walked the earth, before birds filled the skies and flowering plants reshaped the planet, spiders were already here. For more than 300 million years, they have survived mass extinctions, shifting continents, and dramatic changes in climate, making them some of the most successful predators in Earth's history. Among these ancient survivors is one of nature's most remarkable engineers, the orb-weaving spider. Orb weavers belong to the family Aranidae and descend from some of the earliest silk-producing spiders known to science. Fossil evidence preserved in ancient rock and amber reveals that spiders were spinning silk long before the age of dinosaurs. This silk, which is stronger than steel by weight and more elastic than nylon, became the foundation for an evolutionary design that has remained largely unchanged for millions of years: the orb web. Each night, an orb-weaving spider constructs an entirely new web from scratch with astonishing precision. Using up to 7 specialized types of silk, the spider first lays down strong anchor lines, then builds radial spokes, and finally spins a sticky spiral designed to capture prey. The web is not merely a trap, but an extension of the spider's nervous system, capable of transmitting vibrations that reveal the size, location, and struggle of anything that touches it. Orb weavers primarily hunt flying insects such as flies, moths, mosquitoes, beetles, and even stinging wasps. When prey collides with the web, the spider reacts instantly, either delivering a venomous bite or rapidly wrapping the victim in layers of silk. The venom liquefies the prey's internal tissues, allowing the spider to consume its meal efficiently, while remaining safely hidden at the center or edge of the web. Despite their effectiveness as hunters, orb weavers face constant danger from predators including birds, lizards, and parasitic wasps. To defend themselves, they rely on camouflage, rapid web-shaking movements that confuse attackers, or sudden drops from the web while suspended by a safety line of silk. Some species go even further by constructing decoy spiders within their webs, creating false targets that draw attacks away from the real spider. Reproduction is one of the most perilous moments in an orb weaver's life. Males carefully signal their presence by plucking specific rhythmic patterns into the female's web, distinguishing themselves from prey. Even with these signals, mating can be fatal. Females produce silk egg sacs that may contain hundreds of eggs, protecting the next generation before dying and leaving the spiderlings to survive on their own. Orb-weaving spiders play a critical role in maintaining ecological balance by controlling insect populations across ecosystems worldwide. Ancient, delicate, and extraordinarily precise. They rebuild their masterpiece each night, weaving together hundreds of millions of years of evolution into every strand of silk. On the remote volcanic shores of the Galapagos Islands, where black lava meets the restless Pacific Ocean, a reptile waits at the water's edge. Waves crash against jagged rock, the tide rises, and without warning it dives. This is the marine iguana, the only sea-going lizard on Earth. Millions of years ago, its ancestors likely drifted here from South America on rafts of vegetation. Isolated on young volcanic islands with little plant life, they faced a stark choice: adapt or perish. The ocean offered opportunity. Beneath the surface, algae flourished. Over generations, natural selection reshaped a land reptile into a marine specialist. The marine iguana's body is built for this demanding life. Its tail is flattened sideways, acting as a powerful rudder that propels it through surf. Long, curved claws anchor it to slippery rocks as waves attempt to tear it away. Its blunt snout and sharp teeth are designed for scraping algae from stone. Even its dark charcoal skin serves a purpose. After feeding in cold water, the iguana must haul itself onto sun-baked lava to absorb heat. As a reptile, it relies entirely on the sun to raise its body temperature and restore energy. Dives are efficient and deliberate. Smaller iguanas feed in shallow tidal pools, while larger males descend more than 30 feet below the surface. Some can remain underwater for up to an hour. As they dive, their heart rate slows, conserving precious oxygen. In these chilly currents, they graze steadily, cropping red and green algae that no other lizard can access. But feeding at sea comes with a cost: salt. Marine iguanas consume seawater with every bite. Specialized nasal glands filter excess salt from their blood. Periodically, they expel it in forceful snorts, sending fine sprays of brine into the air. What appears dramatic is simply a necessary release. Life on these islands is governed by climate. During El Niño events, warming seas reduce algae growth, and food becomes scarce. In response, marine iguanas perform one of the most remarkable feats in reptilian biology: they shrink. By reabsorbing bone material and reducing body size, they lower their energy demands. When conditions improve, they grow again. Few vertebrates possess such a reversible survival strategy. On land, threats persist. Galapagos hawks patrol from above. Herons stalk the shoreline. Introduced predators add new dangers for hatchlings. Yet the marine iguana remains resilient. During breeding season, males transform. Their normally dark bodies flush with vivid reds, greens, or turquoise, depending on the island. They claim sunlit patches of rock and bob their heads in ritual displays. Females bury eggs in warm sand inland, leaving them to incubate beneath the equatorial sun. When hatchlings emerge, they must move quickly, instinct guiding them toward rocky shelter. As dusk settles over the Pacific, marine iguanas gather in clusters on still warm lava, conserving heat as night approaches. The ocean continues its relentless rhythm beside them. In this meeting place of fire and sea, the marine iguana stands as a testament to evolution's creativity. From a drifting ancestor to a master of tides, it has crossed a boundary no other lizard has crossed. Here, on islands born of volcanoes and shaped by waves, survival demanded innovation. And the marine iguana answered. In the emerald cathedrals of South America's rainforests, where light filters down in fractured beams and the air hums with life, a flash of impossible color slips between the trees. A sapphire crown, a body washed in living green, a voice that pierces the canopy. This is the blue-headed parrot. Blue-headed parrot, one of the neotropics' most captivating and underestimated avian minds. From the lowland forests of Costa Rica to the vast Amazon basin of Brazil, and stretching into Bolivia and Venezuela, this parrot thrives in a world of abundance and danger. It inhabits humid rainforest, forest edges, savannas, and even semi-open woodlands. A master of adaptation in landscapes constantly reshaped by climate and humanity. At first glance, its beauty is undeniable. A deep cobalt blue head contrasts with a bright emerald body. Subtle bronze and purple hues shimmer across its upper breast. But hidden beneath those feathers lies one of evolution's most refined tools, a beak capable of exerting tremendous pressure, designed to crack open some of the rainforest's toughest seeds and fruits. And it must, because survival here demands versatility. Blue-headed parrots are dietary opportunists. They feed on fruits, berries, blossoms, nectar, seeds, and occasionally crops. In doing so, they become architects of the forest itself. Seeds swallowed whole may travel miles before being dispersed, giving rise to the next generation of canopy giants. Each meal is an act of regeneration, but feeding is rarely a solitary affair. At dawn, their calls echo across the treetops, sharp, ringing whistles that maintain contact between mates and flock members. Though often seen in small groups, they may gather in larger flocks where food is plentiful. Social bonds are strong. Mated pairs often remain together for years, reinforcing their partnership through synchronized movements and mutual preening. This intelligence runs deep. Like many parrots, the blue-headed parrot possesses advanced cognitive abilities, problem-solving, memory, social learning, all part of a brain built for complexity. Studies of related Pioneus species reveal strong spatial memory, allowing individuals to recall fruiting trees across vast territories. In a forest where resources change with the seasons, memory is survival. When breeding season arrives, typically timed with peak food availability, pairs seek out tree cavities, often abandoned woodpecker holes or natural hollows high above the forest floor. There, the female lays 2 to 4 eggs. She incubates them for nearly 4 weeks while the male stands guard and delivers food. For the chicks, life begins in darkness. Blind and featherless, they depend entirely on their parents. But within weeks, pin feathers erupt, eyes open, and the cavity fills with soft, insistent calls. After roughly 8 weeks, they fledge, launching into a world of aerial acrobatics and constant learning. Flight is both freedom and defense. In the wild, blue-headed parrots may live over 25 years. Their longevity demands caution. Raptors patrol the skies. Arboreal predators stalk the branches. Vigilance is constant. Their cryptic green plumage blends seamlessly with leaves, while their swift, direct flight carries them across clearings in seconds. Yet perhaps their greatest defense is awareness. They are sentinels of the canopy, often among the first to raise alarm at disturbance. Their sharp calls ripple through the forest like an early warning system, alerting countless other species. Despite their adaptability, they are not invincible. Habitat loss across the Amazon and Central America continues to reshape their world. Deforestation fragments the ancient corridors they rely on for seasonal movement. The pet trade has also placed pressure on some populations, drawn by their intelligence and striking beauty. Yet for now, the blue-headed parrot remains widespread, a resilient symbol of the rainforest's vitality. Watch closely, and you'll see more than a colorful bird. You'll see a seed disperser shaping entire ecosystems, a lifelong partner reinforcing complex social bonds, a strategist navigating a three-dimensional world, a survivor in one of the most competitive habitats on Earth. As twilight settles and the forest exhales into evening, flocks gather at communal roosts. One by one, blue crowns vanish into the canopy shadows. The calls soften. The rainforest dims, but at first light, when mist clings to the treetops and the sun ignites the green world once more, a flash of sapphire will streak across the sky, a reminder that intelligence, beauty, and resilience are not human traits alone. They are written in feathers and in the endless breathing heart of the rainforest. The blue-headed parrot endures. In the quiet hush of a sun-drenched meadow, life awakens in a delicate dance of color and light. From the tiniest bud, a caterpillar begins its journey, inching forward with purpose, devouring leaves with an insatiable appetite. Each day, it grows, its body stretching and curling in rhythm with the rhythms of the earth. Beneath the sky's vast expanse, predators lurk. Yet this small creature moves with a persistence that defies its size. As it reaches the end of its larval stage, a profound transformation begins, hidden beneath a silken chrysalis. Inside, the caterpillar's world dissolves, and a new form takes shape in secret, a miracle of evolution unfolding without a sound. Weeks pass, and the world outside continues unaware of the marvel concealed within fragile walls. Then, one morning, the chrysalis trembles, a silent signal of life ready to emerge. A fragile wing pushes through the hardened shell, glistening with the dew of dawn. The butterfly unfurls slowly, revealing colors more vivid than the most brilliant flowers around it. Its wings are a mosaic of pigments and patterns, each scale reflecting the light like a jewel in motion. With the first tentative flap, it rises, leaving behind the remnants of its past life. Air flows over delicate wings, teaching balance and grace in every movement. The butterfly's world is vast, yet it travels with a purpose, guided by instinct and the unseen forces of nature. It lands upon a flower, its feet barely touching the petals as it sips the nectar that fuels its fragile body. The scent of blossoms and the hum of pollinators fill the meadow, each organism playing its part in a complex web of life. Every wingbeat stirs the air, creating ripples that connect predator and prey, flower and pollinator, life and survival. Across forests and fields, the butterfly's journey is both ordinary and extraordinary, a fleeting testament to resilience. Some species migrate thousands of miles, tracing invisible pathways beneath the sun and stars, navigating with precision no human compass could replicate. Along riverbanks, through open plains, and over mountain ridges, these travelers persist, their wings beating in synchrony with the rhythm of the earth. Predators watch from shadows, yet the butterfly's brilliance often confuses, distracts, and sometimes survives against impossible odds. In tropical rainforests, colors explode in every direction, and here, butterflies display the full spectrum of evolution's palette. Blue morphos shimmer like liquid sapphire, while monarchs trace familiar migratory routes passed down through countless generations. Each species carries a story written in scales, in flight, in the delicate structures that allow air and sunlight to shape movement. The life of a butterfly is ephemeral. Yet within its brief span, it accomplishes feats that inspire wonder and admiration. Courtship begins with the flutter of wings, a ritual as old as time, where colors, patterns, and motion communicate intentions beyond words. Mating pairs engage in aerial dances, weaving between flowers and sunlight in a choreography perfected over eons. Eggs are laid with precision upon carefully chosen leaves, each one a potential future, a continuation of an ancient cycle. Predators, parasites, and the environment shape survival, yet nature persists, and life finds a way to endure. In gardens, meadows, and wild spaces, butterflies remind us that beauty and fragility often coexist with strength and resilience. Through rain and wind, through heat and frost, these creatures endure, a testament to evolution's ingenuity. Every flutter tells a story of transformation, of vulnerability turned into grace, of life celebrated in motion. Scientists study their behaviors, uncovering secrets of navigation, adaptation, and survival, revealing that even the smallest wings can carry profound lessons. Children gaze in wonder, adults pause in reflection, and all who witness their flight are reminded of the intricate poetry of nature. In the silence between moments, the butterfly's journey continues, a fleeting presence that leaves an indelible mark on the soul. As sunlight fades into evening, colors deepen, and wings rest upon petals and leaves, gathering strength for the next day. Night brings quiet, yet the meadow remains alive with the whispers of the natural world, a symphony of creatures, insects, and the wind through grass. The butterfly sleeps lightly, sheltered yet alert, its body tuned to the rhythms of life and survival. With dawn comes awakening, the cycle beginning anew, wings stretching toward the sky, ready for another day of exploration. Each flight, each sip of nectar, each moment in the sun is a celebration of existence itself. Through forests, fields, mountains, and rivers, the butterfly's journey continues, an eternal testament to transformation, resilience, and beauty. In the end, it is not just a creature, but a living symbol, a reminder that even the smallest and most fragile beings leave a profound impact on the world around them. And as we watch, captivated by its grace, we are drawn into the larger story of life, a story as ancient as the earth, yet unfolding anew with every delicate wing beat. In the quiet hush of a sun-drenched meadow, the butterfly rises once more, a fleeting miracle that reminds us of the wonder in every living thing. Before there were forests, before dinosaurs walked the land, before humanity ever dreamed of stars, there was this, an invisible universe, a drifting empire, a living tide so vast, so powerful, that without it, Earth would collapse. What you're seeing right now may look small, fragile, almost insignificant, but these creatures, zooplankton, are the foundation of life on this planet. They are not background noise. They are not filler in the ocean. They are the ocean's heartbeat. Zooplankton are animals that drift, not because they are weak, but because the ocean itself is their highway. Some are born microscopic and die microscopic. Others begin life smaller than a grain of sand and grow into the largest animals to ever exist. Every whale, every coral reef, every fish you've ever admired, all of them begin here. Zooplankton are larvae, hunters, grazers, parasites, warriors, and ghosts. And together, they form the largest migration on Earth. Every single night, as the sun disappears. Trillions upon trillions of zooplankton rise from the depths, not meters, not tens of meters, hundreds, sometimes thousands. They ascend like a living storm, feeding near the surface under cover of darkness. Then, before dawn, they vanish again into the black. This daily vertical migration outweighs all land migrations combined. Wildebeest, caribou, birds, not even close. This movement reshapes ocean chemistry, redistributes carbon, and helps regulate Earth's climate. Without it, the atmosphere itself would be different. Look closely. Some zooplankton are armored in spikes and blades. Others are transparent, so clear they nearly vanish. This isn't beauty, it's survival. Spines make them harder to swallow. Glass-like bodies make them almost invisible. Some species can sense pressure changes, feeling predators before they arrive. Others glow. Bioluminescence isn't decoration, it's a language of survival. Zooplankton flash to confuse attackers, signal distress, or erase their silhouette by matching moonlight from above. Entire stretches of ocean ignite blue when disturbed, not because of magic, but because life is screaming in light. In a single liter of seawater, there can be thousands of living animals, each glowing, feeding, reacting. The sea is never empty. It is crowded beyond comprehension. Blue whales, the largest animals to ever live, survive almost entirely on zooplankton. A single whale can consume over 4 tons a day. That means these drifting animals fuel hearts the size of cars, tongues that weigh as much as elephants, and migrations across entire oceans. No zooplankton, no whales, no whales, a broken ocean. Zooplankton are not one thing, they are thousands. Some are crustaceans, some are jelly-like predators, some are larvae of animals you'd never associate with plankton at all. Starfish, crabs, lobsters, fish, even creatures that dominate reefs and coastliness spend their earliest days drifting, defenseless, vulnerable, anonymous. Most don't survive, and that's the point. Zooplankton don't rely on strength. They rely on overwhelming probability. Millions are born so that a handful may live. This fuels the entire marine food web, from filter feeders to apex predators. It is brutal. It is efficient. It is perfect. Here's something few people realize. Zooplankton help regulate Earth's oxygen and carbon cycles. They eat phytoplankton, microscopic plants that produce over half the oxygen you breathe. When zooplankton feed and then sink or are eaten, carbon is dragged into the deep ocean, locked away for centuries. This is called the biological pump, and without it, global temperatures would skyrocket. Zooplankton don't just live in the ocean, they engineer the planet. Some zooplankton are predators, armed with harpoons, venom, and grasping limbs. At their scale, they are monsters. They ambush prey, they paralyze victims, they consume animals nearly their own size. This is a world of constant motion, constant danger, constant hunger, and it never stops. Zooplankton predate dinosaurs. They survived mass extinctions, ice ages, asteroid impacts. They adapted while giants fell. Some of the forms you're watching nowhere nearly unchanged from hundreds of millions of years ago. They are living fossils, still drifting, still feeding, still holding the planet together. And yet, despite their power, zooplankton are vulnerable. Ocean warming disrupts their migrations. Acidification weakens their shells. Pollution and microplastics enter their bodies, and then every body above them. When zooplankton suffer, the entire ocean feels it. This is not an abstract problem. It is immediate. It is global. It is already happening. Zooplankton do not live randomly. They follow internal clocks, time to sunlight, moon cycles, and even seasons. Some species synchronize reproduction with lunar phases, releasing eggs and sperm simultaneously across miles of ocean. For a brief moment, the sea becomes a living constellation of life. This precision ensures survival in a world where timing is everything. Miss the window by minutes, and an entire generation can vanish. Few people realize this, but zooplankton influence cloud formation. When they feed and digest, they release compounds into the atmosphere, tiny chemical signals that help seed clouds. Those clouds affect rainfall. Those rains affect crops. Those crops feed humanity. From microscopic drifting animals to storms forming in the sky, the connection is unbroken. There are no hiding places in open water, no trees, no rocks, no caves. Zooplankton survive in a three-dimensional battlefield where danger comes from above, below, and every direction in between. Some grow spines longer than their bodies. Some flatten themselves to slip through currents. Others develop erratic swimming patterns, moving unpredictably to avoid capture. This is evolution at its most relentless. Even silence isn't silent. As zooplankton move, feed, and collide, they contribute to the ocean's acoustic signature. Whales and fish can detect these subtle sounds, using them to locate feeding grounds. In a way, zooplankton are whispering direction stow, the largest creatures on Earth. Follow the sound, follow the food, follow life. Many zooplankton begin life near the surface and end it in the abyss. When they die, their bodies fall, a slow, steady snowfall of organic matter. This marine snow feeds creatures that have never seen sunlight. Entire deep-sea ecosystem sexist because of drifting animals that lived and died far above. Even the darkest corners of the ocean are connected to the surface by zooplankton. Zooplankton are nature's quality control. They remove excess algae, recycle nutrients, prevent runaway blooms that could suffocate the seas. When their populations collapse, algae can explode uncontrollably, oxygen levels crash, and dead zones spread. Their absence is catastrophic. Their presence is balance. Life as zooplankton is fast. Some live only days, others weeks. A few survive months. Every moment matters. They hatch, ready to feed. They grow rapidly. They reproduce quickly, because the ocean does not wait. Predators are always near. There is no childhood, no pause, only motion. Scientists study zooplankton to predict what comes next for Earth. They respond quickly to temperature changes. They shift ranges as oceans warm. They vanish from places they once dominated. When zooplankton move, the planet is speaking. They are early warnings written in living code. Ignore them, and we ignore the future. Zooplankton are everywhere, and yet almost nowhere in human thought. We celebrate sharks, we revere whales, we protect coral reefs. But the creatures that make all of it possible remain unnamed, unseen, and largely unprotected. The ocean's greatest power has no face. Without zooplankton, diversity collapses. They don't just feed life, they shape what life is allowed to exist. By controlling which phytoplankton dominate, zooplankton influence water clarity, nutrient flow, and habitat structure. Clear waters favor coral reefs. Murky waters favor different ecosystems. In this way, drifting animals decide which oceans sparkle with color and which fade into monotony. They are not passive passengers. They are architects of possibility. Zooplankton carry the chemical fingerprints of their environment. In their bodies are records of temperature, pollution, and change. Scientists read these signals like pages in a diary, a living archive of ocean history. Where they grow smaller, the waters are warming. Where they vanish, ecosystems are unraveling. They remember what the ocean was. They reveal what it is becoming. Right now, as you watch this, Zooplankton are rising through the water column, feeding under starlight, shaping currents, balancing chemistry, fueling giants. They are living proof that size is irrelevant, that dominance is not about strength, and that the smallest lives can carry the greatest weight. They do not conquer, they sustain. And as long as they drift, the ocean lives, the planet breathes, and the story of life continues.